Thank you.
Set me free. Why
Hi, everybody. Ronald Nesty here from Rock and Roll Heaven, the Arcada Theater in St. Charles, Illinois, right outside Chicago. We are here with artists on lockdown. We're hanging and banging with two of rock and roll's legendary drummers. I'm going to bring them on in a second. But man, oh man, I wish I could just hear Ben, our producer. We always start our show with, set me free. And then it stops. We got to have, Carmine just finish it all one time. I love that song. Speaking of Carmine, speaking of Vinny Appice from Dio, there it is, Last in Line, and also Black Sabbath. There he is, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, Ron. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Vinny. You look great.
Hey, I got to say, I'm getting tons of emails from the show.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what they say?
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
They say, how come the intro has video of just Carmine and none of Vinny, and you play Keep Me Hanging On, and you don't play one of my songs?
So I'm in 100% agreement with that. 100%. Let's get some. So, all right. So then you got to pick it. What would be this? Because you're part of so many projects. What would be the perfect song for you?
Mob Rules.
Okay.
Sabbath.
So Ben.
And then a video, a little bit of a snippet of something.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
And then what I'd also like, since we're talking, and we got to bring Carmine on ultimately, but ultimately, let's bring him on because I do want to talk about this excellent topic. Let's bring him on. Talk about legend. Talk about icon behind the drums. Bring him on, Carmine Appice, Vanilla Fudge. There he is. Great shirt, Carmine.
Yeah, I'm trying to compete with you now. You wear the shirt of the artist. I'm going to wear stage shirts that sparkle.
You look awesome. I mean, you look. I tell you what, if Liberace was still alive today, he would be going crazy for you.
Hey, well, I don't know about that, honey. Listen, honey.
Liberace wants his shirt back. So hurry up.
You can have it. I don't wear these anymore.
Hey, Betty. Hello, Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hey, Betty.
Love Betty.
Hey, just Heidi. Hey, John.
John, hey, how you doing? Mob Rules. That's right. So, speaking of Mob Rules, Carmine, Vinny and I have a little subject we'd like to discuss with you real briefly before we bring our guest on. But, I love Set Me Free. What? Every week. I love it. We start the show with it. But now we're getting some backlash.
Yeah.
There's got to be some video or some song from your little brother here.
I was just looking at that myself. I thought he was in that video.
Me
but
too.
As I was just looking, I said, "Where's Vinny?"
Mm-hmm.
And that, so he should be in that. He should be in that intro video.
You see, since I was always late when I come in, I never see the whole thing, so I thought I was in it.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a lot of emails saying,
Ben,
what's the story? Actually, some emails saying they should take Carmine off.
Well, here's the thing, though. But if I have a vote, I don't know if I have a vote here, but if I have a vote, because I'm one of the only 15 people in this whole situation with no last name starting with Appice, or any of these things. But I would love something with Vanilla Fudge. Obviously, Mob Rules. Love to have that. And then I'd love to have both you guys doing your drum war, just something from both you guys, and then we start the show.
Yeah, that's good. Well, we got video of that.
We got a ton of. We got it from the Arcada Theater where you guys saw it. So because people love that stuff, and I would venture to say if we can do this, and part of this thing, because again, you guys, I don't mean to blow smoke up your skirts, but how I feel about you guys. I'm so honored to be part of this with you legends. I would love to have like a minute or more, but let's just call it a minute of the Drum Wars show. Like if we could isolate clips every show. We have a different clip of you guys. Okay, this is our Drum Wars clip, and you guys are battling because that's such a freaking cool thing that you guys do. And who else has got that?
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Ben, you hear that, Ben?
Ben hears it.
Yeah, I don't hear a Ben reply.
He's hiding.
I hear it.
All right,
there you go. Okay, that's good.
He was already working on it. That's why.
I'm working on it.
Well, listen, guys, tonight we have a very special guest, as we do every week. So excited about this. There's a lot of guys out there that have been supporting some of the bands that have been classic bands started from the beginning, especially our guys, you guys from the 60s and 70s, classic bands that still keep the legacy alive today, keep the music going. One of those bands, you see on my chest here, one of my favorite bands, man, Boston, right? Tommy and the Boys, was just a great band that has stood the test of time. And a lot of these bands, again, let's face it, they come out, it's 30, 40, 50, some of these bands 60 years still going. And as that happens, they got us pull some more support cast in. And our guest tonight has been with Boston, formerly, I think it was 2012 to 2014. We'll talk about that. But he's been in and out of Boston doing some great things, other great things. We're going to bring him to our stage right now. Come on, join us, our good buddy, Mr. David Victor.
Hey.
Hello. Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey,
I love your studio.
That's
yeah. Well, I'm
how does it sound?
One at a time. Take it easy.
How does it sound?
Dave, can you turn that speaker a little bit over there?
Yeah. Let me. You know what? After I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like it's gonna go out of phase or something.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Well, David, welcome to the show. We're very excited to have you on.
Thank you.
Your career. I'm doing some more research on you. You've got career elements to you that we talk about a little bit later. That's not even as much to do. It's a sister to the music industry. What you do as well. But some of the stuff that you've been doing, I mean, we got to talk about Boston, of course. How cool was that? And specifically, you had the big, obviously the tragedy that happened in the Boston bombings, and when they had the Boston Strong concert, where Boston and Aerosmith and everybody just all came together. Take us through that, because that must have been. It's got to be a career moment for you, and it was incredibly special for Boston fans and rock and roll fans everywhere.
Oh, man, you want to start right at the top, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm so excited about that thing.
How did you get into Boston? Let's just go right to the pinnacle moment.
Oh, we'll get there, but this is amazing.
Well, it was amazing. Obviously, springing from a very tragic event, the Boston Marathon bombing, and they put it together. It took a little while for everything to get pulled together. In fact, I think there was a hurricane in between when that bombing happened and when the Boston Strong concert happened, and they actually pulled a benefit concert together in between that. But it finally came together, and it featured, of course, all the luminaries from the New England area music scene. So that included a lot of names I didn't know anything about, that they were from there, like Carole King and James Taylor. I had no idea they were from there. Of course, bands that we all know are from there, like Extreme and Jay Giles Band and Aerosmith, of course, and then obviously Boston, right? So just a really fun night, and we actually elected to open the show, which of course I was terrified. It's at Boston Garden. Boston hadn't played there for over a quarter of a century, I was told. At that point, and it's sold out. There's 20,000 people. It's such a impactful and momentous moment, and we were like, oh, we'll open the show. So they had some of the bombing victims come out before the show started and talk about their experiences, and it was just really super moving and a really much larger than life, larger than anything type of moment. And then we opened the show with the Star Spangled Banner. That was back when it was still legal to play, and it really was an epic moment. I mean, everybody stood up with their hand over their heart. I mean, every single person in the whole place, of course, right? And it was just a demonstrative moment where you just realize how important music is to healing and just people's experience of life, and just the power of recovery. And every band except for Aerosmith played, I think, 4 songs. So we played 4 songs and got off. And that slide you were showing a second ago, so we're finished, right? We do our 4 songs. We're like, oh, thank God, it's over. We can go out and we can relax. We went backstage, met a bunch of the, people again, people I wasn't clear where they came from, like New Kids on the Block, of course.
Yep.
Came from there and met,
Yep.
a lot of nice Doug Flutie, for gosh, all these people back there. And so we're tying a few on, and we go back out into the audience to watch Aerosmith's finale. And for their final song, they were going to play Come Together, right? Great song, great version. And so I'm sitting in the audience and I'm gassed completely, just enjoying it. And my wife's like, they're going to come together. My wife's like, you should be up there. I'm like, no, yeah, they already rehearsed it. They don't need David Victor up there. No, you should be up there. And I'm like, I should be up there. So I jumped out of my seat, and I would say, actually, this looks like it might be the most epic moment, but truly the most epic moment was 30 giant men in yellow windbreakers parting like the Red Sea as I just sauntered right on stage. No one stopped me because of my backstage pass. And there you go. There's your epic.
That was epic. Donnie Wahlberg is actually a very good friend. He lives out here in St. Charles, and he and Jenny McCarthy come to our Arcada Theater pretty much almost every weekend.
Oh, very nice.
And we talked about that. You're right. They were there, and it was epic because it seemed like, and there must have been, like you had said, first of all, the fact that Boston had not played Boston for well over 20 years. The first time they actually played Boston, which I don't know if there was a reason, but there must have been a reason. I don't know what it would have been, but I mean, how do you not play Boston? I mean, Chicago plays Chicago every year, so I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about it.
Kansas.
Yeah, exactly. But they talked about how that entire sea of people, it was like one big family moment. Like everybody was in arms, holding each other. It was just a tremendous moment, one that we could probably use right about now.
Absolutely. I mean, when I think about what's going on now and just the divisiveness and arguing and everything, and to have been part of such an epic, literally coming together moment, it was just like, again, that's the power of music when it's applied in that, kind of situation. And it just, everybody was so united. It was just a beautiful thing. And I was really just overjoyed to be a part of that. It was so, it was kind of obviously last minute. We hadn't rehearsed, and we flew out there and just kind of slapped it together. And it was only 4 songs, but still
huge.
We hadn't played for a while, and to get out there and do the show.
I don't think the Boston Garden is used anymore, is it?
It's called TD Bank North Garden.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
I know we all played there. I know Vinny played there. I played there with Rod Stewart and Ozzy and Ted and so many different acts, and it was a great old venue. Sort of like playing Madison Square Garden. You're playing the Boston Garden, then the next night you're at Madison Square Garden. It's a great venue.
Vinny and Carmine. David talks about being on stage with contemporaries, with idols, with just all different people from the music industry in one for one common goal. I mean, you've had to have that opportunity, especially you, Carmine, been with other singers, in other vocalists, other bands, all together, kind of doing some kind of a fundraiser, something like that, kind of a "We Are the World" kind of moment.
Yeah, I mean, look at the best one was for Hearing Aid that Dio put together.
Yeah.
And Vinny played on it. I was out on the road with King Cobra at the time, and Vinny and Frankie Bonelli, rest in peace, played drums on it, and I just flew in just to do the vocals. We're all standing around like "We Are the World," singing the song, and it was fun. It was really fun. But then they videoed everybody doing funny things, just backstage. And it was awesome. But it was pretty much every heavy metal act that was considered a heavy metal act of the 80s was there, pretty much, right, Vin?
Yes, and the biggest hit there was Spinal Tap.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's right.
The 2 guys from Spinal Tap, everybody was like bowing to them.
Yeah, that movie. That was the movie then.
Those were the guys.
Well, You know, when you do these things, and you guys know better than I do, of course, you get asked to do these not-for-profit things or these last-minute kind of things. And you guys, I know, because you're quality individuals, you're great people, you're happy to do it. But even my own experiences, do you recall anybody, and if you want to name names, that'd be great. If not, I understand. But who was less than excited, like my freaking manager got me involved in this thing, and I don't want to be here. David, was there anything like that backstage?
Not at all, especially
That's
for
great.
that. I mean, especially for that. You know, it was so rooted in being in Boston. You're right there. I mean, the Boston Marathon goes through the city. I mean, there was no dissension. I mean, that might have been the last moment in America with zero dissension.
Right. No, I brought this up several times. That was one of the times for sure. We talked about the thing about the upside about 9/11, if there is an upside at all, I don't know. But man, oh man, how about those weeks and months after? Everybody was together. Everybody wore red, white, and blue flags everywhere. And that was the only, if there was an upside at all to 9/11, which I shudder to think about. But that was how we all came together. And I hope one day we can all feel that way again. But anyway, let's stay on the music thing. You know, a good friend of mine is, as you guys probably know him, his name is Ronnie Platt. He's the lead singer to Kansas. We mentioned Kansas a little bit earlier.
Oh yeah.
Here's a guy. He was 50 years old. He's a truck driver playing on the weekends in a rock and roll band, doing covers, doing songs by Kansas and Foreigner and Journey and Zeppelin, doing all that kind of thing. And one way or another, we'll talk about that later if you want, he gets the call from Phil Ernst, the drummer, as you know, from Kansas. And he got an audition, and within a couple of days, he is, after Steve left, the new lead singer for Kansas. Now, here's a guy just like David. Right, David, you were a similar situation, right, where you're doing that kind of thing, and all of a sudden you find yourself in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, it was just great. I mean, you know, one of the things about the music business, a lot of businesses, is, you know, it's who you know type of thing. And back then, you know, I didn't know anybody, and the only thing I knew was YouTube, and so I just made sure that, you know, whenever we had a good performance, it would find its way to YouTube. And I do digital marketing too. So I just made sure that it got seen, right? And the right people saw it at the right time. And they went, well, this guy knows how to sing. Why don't we bring him out? And I did my audition was actually recording a single for the album that came out in 2014. And you know, they'd seen me on video performing, you know, all over the place. So they knew I could play, and they just wanted to meet me, basically, and that was my audition. But at the time, it was Arnell. It was I forget what Mark Wahlberg's character was named.
Yeah, right. But Arnell with Journey, right?
Yeah, Arnell with Journey.
Rockstar. Yeah, the Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar. Yeah. And then me. We were the three. Well, no, that's not true, because Tommy DiCarlo,
right,
who currently sings for Boston and was singing for Boston when I joined the band, was the other guy. He like literally sent in what was known then as a cassette tape and auditioned that way. And he got to sing at the Brad Delp tribute concert that they did. And they went, oh my God, who is this guy? There's still video on there you can see on YouTube of him out there with his, you know, it was the first time he'd been on stage. He said he never even sang at a karaoke bar. And he got up and sang Smoke, and he crushed it. You know, I mean, your nerves are, you would think he'd go and he'd get the yips, but he crushed it. And they said, hey, why don't you sing lead for the band? So it was a really nice story. I was supposed to be brought in because they wanted that third guitar and some vocal help. And I thought, well, I'll be singing the other songs, you know. But as it ended up happening, I ended up singing Peace of Mind, which is my favorite Boston song of all time, and Amanda, which was their obviously #1 hit from '86, and the chorus of More Than a Feeling. So I thought that I'm good.
It's just a great, you know, you talk about some of the American dream stories and the ones in music. Well, you're definitely one of those guys. You know, Boston has been, to me, such it's an evolutionary band that's also stayed consistent and true to itself and its music. You know, some of these bands, they try to venture off on different things, which God bless them. That's good too. But you got to stay true to the fans and to the original music.
Yeah.
And it
Boston never had a disco era, you know.
right, and some has. Never an unmasked era.
Right.
You know? That kind of thing, you know. So, but I mean, you talk about, you know, with Barry Goudreau and Tommy Schultz, of course, and Brad Delp, of course, got together. You know, you've got a legacy there, and obviously we lost Brad. I think it was 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
7, yeah, and that's a tragedy, you know, more than we can even talk about, but which is a whole bunch of stories related to that. But you talk about, you know, the evolution again. Barry Goudreau doing some things. Anton Cosmo. I mean, Cosmo, another great addition to the band, and in and out a little bit, doing a bunch of different things. But he was in it for at least 10 years. Great guys, but so many talented people all come together to make this one Boston team, and that had to be a really cool career moment for you. Now, did that allow you to do some other maybe some production projects or that kind of thing?
You know, when I was in the band, I thought, yeah, I mean, this will be, you know, a great, you know, stepping stone. You know, if this ever stops, which of course, you know, it was never going to stop, right? And but you know, it's funny because Boston, when I was in the band, so I actually joined in 2010, but they weren't doing anything. But I was the guy, and I couldn't say anything, so I kind of missed 2 years there. And when you say 2012 to 2014, it's like, wow, you're in the band for 5 minutes. And, you know, truth be told, I was, compared to how long they've been out. But joining the band, you know, I was working on my own original stuff, you know, and I've got 5 albums of original stuff. You know, I did a whole bunch of stuff back in the 90s of my own, just my own material and stuff. So I thought, well, that will be good. But truthfully, you know, the fans of a band, and maybe that band more than most, they are fans of that band. And when you are in that band and you step out of the spaceship, you're good. And once you're out of the spaceship completely, you know.
Then it ends.
Yeah, you're pretty much been transported out, and that's fine. That's just how it is. And I imagine a lot of bands are, you know, similar kinds of stories. But I'm just thankful for the, you know, the time I spent in the band. Like you said, you know, it's been a long legacy. They've always had that sound. I mean, obviously, Tom invented the Rockman, and you know, I got to play. And funny story, when I joined the band, he's like, "Oh, do you have an amp that you like?" I'm like, "I want to sound like you."
Yeah, right.
Like, well, plug into this thing, and I plugged into it, and of course, not only did he build it, but he's like tweaked it to the nth degree. So you play it, and it's like the album is playing, and you're playing it. You know, I mean, it's just the sweetest sound coming back at you from the monitor, and you know, there's no amps on stage. It looks like there are, but everything's just going direct, and it's just the sound is just perfection. You know, you can't do anything better than that. So I love that sound of the record, you know, just that
great
super, you know, nasally Marshall from the 70s. But when you try to do that live now, you need a little more out there. And the Rockman's, the way he's got him tuned, everything just sounds amazing.
You know, when I played with Derringer in '76, Rick Derringer, we opened for them on their first tour.
Yeah?
The original guys. And
nice.
They just came out they were just playing big arenas. They really didn't know what to do. So they used to watch Rick, because Rick was such a professional.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's been there.
He's been on stage forever by then.
They used to watch Rick and see what was going on there. And, I mean, I was fairly new back then. And then we went on their private plane, you know, to go to the gig. I get on. I'm like 19 years old. There's fresh donuts there, and the stewardess going, hey, I could get used to this.
Right. Oh, Rick was huge. Rick's one of my favorite guitar players of all time. I mean, just a legendary guy. And in fact, the day before I left to do my first rehearsal with Boston, we did a show with Mickey Thomas, and Rick Derringer was opening or playing, co-headlining or something like that. Yeah. And I got to meet him, and
they were really cool. We got to know everybody really well. Sibby, you know, we became friends for a long time. Yeah, and it was really cool.
I became friends with Fran and Sibby. I believe Sibby played Ludwig, and I was a Ludwig endorser. So was Vinny, and Met him, hung out with him a lot of times at a lot of events and NAMM shows and stuff. Nice guy. Did one of them die? Did Sib die?
Yeah, Sib died.
Yeah.
I
He
think
died on a rock cruise.
a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famous story, my God.
He died
Yeah,
during
terrible.
the show, right? On the
Died
boat.
doing what he loved. So
Yep.
kind of a-
Like
Very
Jimmy
few.
Bain, he died on the boat, on the cruise.
Yep.
yeah, I'm only sorry, I never got to meet really any of the other ones. I mean, Gary Peel's been in the band for a long time now, like 30 years or something. So he was sort of part of that original crew. But yeah, I never met any of
Is
the
that
rest.
the last? Is that the last time they played when you were with them?
No. They kept going,
been out.
going. In fact, so there was like 2 years before we played, and there was 2012 tour, 2013 was Boston Strong, 2014 another tour, and then I was out, and then 2015, 2016, 2017, and then I think 2018 was the first year they did tour, and they haven't been out since 2017, I guess now.
Right, 2017. But they're talking about it again, I mean, everyone's trying to talk about coming back and getting some of that revenue, Hey,
Yeah, well, as we know, playing live is that's pretty much the only way that any money changes hands anymore.
well, they were part of these big monster arena packages, the Boston Journey Foreigner kind of
Yeah.
concepts, and
Yep.
just huge.
Yeah.
We have a listener, a viewer, Anita. Hi, Anita. She talks about a great story, I believe. Montrose Beach concert, a major storm, and then you played. Tell us about that. That sounds cool. What happened
That
there?
was cool. So I think Doobie Brothers opened that show, and it was kind of starting to rain, and then it just opened up, and we're walking out from the little trailer, and it's just like this downhill, just like a mudslide. I'm surprised I didn't bite it on the way down. We get on stage. I don't want to sound like I'm exaggerating. It seemed like there was an inch of water on stage. Maybe it was a quarter of an inch, but it was completely covered, submerged underwater, and we're all wireless, thank God, but there's still lightning going on and stuff. And we played the whole show. I still don't really know how that happened, but there was no cover. Like, I always wondered, Ron, these Midwest promoters, they go, we're doing an outdoor show. It's going to be great. And the chance of rain is only 50%. So it looks good. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's brutal. No, our law, no, I don't understand. Your guy, you got screwed because you should always provide a roof. But
Yeah.
our law is, the rain, it goes back and forth. If it's drizzling and it covers, it still can happen. But one sight of lightning, it stops, period.
Right.
And
Yeah, and
a lot of guys don't do that.
One of the guys on the tour had a radar detector or whatever, and he would be holding it and going, if it gets to like 3 miles, they're going to call the show. And then it was, if it gets to 1 mile.
I know. Because you know what? It's like a baseball game, If the baseball game goes 5 innings, just about 5, and rain, it's an official game.
Yeah. If you get more than a feeling and Amanda out, it's a show. You're done.
Well, I've done that. I mean, we sit with the band because it's everybody's concern. We want safety and everything, but I said, look, guys, I know your finale is freaking amazing. It's got your hits. It's got all this thing. Let's start with that. Let's just start with the finale. And they've done it because I'm showing them, there's a chance we're not going to finish this show.
Right.
Let's hit them with our best. And then so you do a couple B-sides for the finale. Believe me, they'll be fine.
Right.
And we've done it, but that's responsibility, at least of what we do on our side of it.
Yeah. Please, roofs, Ron, roofs.
I know, big bubbles now.
Now, it said in the contract, David, to bring your own umbrella. You didn't read that.
It did.
Well, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that here in Florida because it rains and lightnings all the time.
That's the thing.
You couldn't run your show here, Ron.
I know. Even though I want to move down there with you, brother. It looks
They
beautiful
said
down there.
we read something that lightning hits Florida, that lightning's here 1.2 million times a year.
That's just they're referring to when you got there. Carl.
Unbelievable. 1.2 million times. The first 2 weeks we
when
were
he wears
here.
that vest.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, don't wear that shirt in the
Don't wear
lightning
that. You
department.
get electrocuted with that on.
No, I won't. But we had a telephone near one of the windows, right? A wireless phone. Lightning came in and fried the damn thing.
Really?
And the first 2 weeks we were here. Because we pick up the phone and go, man, what happened? We heard this sound and we were in the other room. Go, what the hell was that? and then we look at the phone and it's black. I mean, it's fried.
Wow.
Yeah, so the lightning must have come in the window because it was right near the window.
You better get a surge protector for your computer.
I have.
Yeah.
A good one. A good
One
one.
of those little 80
I got a
minutes
good one.
hardware store deals. That should be
It'd be
fine.
like Frankenstein monster.
Right.
It's
Hey,
alive.
David, you're still playing. You're out there doing these great. I know you got actually you got some shows coming up, but you're one of the.
Well,
few
you know what? As luck would have it, we have a show next Friday in
Indiana.
Lawrenceburg, Indiana,
Really?
and it's an outdoor show.
Who's we? Who's we?
So this is it's called. Well, it used to be called Boss Sticks. We do the hits of Boston and Sticks. It's just called David Victor and the hits of Boston and Sticks. And the band's been around since 2011. And yeah, we were just putting it all together, doing all the Boston stuff in the original key because I thought I better get tuned up here. And we just kept going with it after I left the band. And it's been fun, you know. It's just such great music, and not that many people do it. Like there's not that many bands do it, so it's fun to. And of course, when Boston's not touring, there's almost nobody doing it. So
Right.
we like to get out there and give those good Midwestern folks. That's pretty close to being dead smack center in the middle of the country, right?
Oh yeah, that's right by us. I could walk there. It's in Indiana.
Oh, perfect.
Chicago. Hey,
Oh,
you know,
come on out, Ron.
you know what? I think I'm going to do that, brother. I'm going to come check it out. I really, really am. We'll get some people there as well.
Nice stage.
What else you got to do, Ron?
Yeah,
Exactly.
oh my God.
If you're not there, I'm going to really wonder what happened.
I know. I got to be there.
Hey,
you know,
Ron, why don't you film that?
I will film that, and we'll use that instead of our Hanging and Banging. We'll just do that next Thursday.
Use that for the intro. Right on
You know
the-
what? I should. You know what? We talked a little bit about when David talked about getting off the spaceship, which is a really cool analogy. You know, Vinny, when you know that's kind of happened. I mean, I don't know that it would happen. It was like a real close analogy to that, but I think about one day or 1 year you're freaking hanging and banging as part of Dio. Then another year time you're hanging and banging as part of Black Sabbath. And then you do Last in Line. You're doing these things, to do, and you too. I mean, my gosh, Carm, so many incarnations. Very much. But when you go from, I mean, these aren't just like bands. These are like freaking states of mind. To go from Dio to Last in Line or Black Sabbath. How do you address that? And is that difficult to do?
It's difficult. Well, when you're in the big band, Sabbath and Dio and stuff, it's like, I learned a long time ago, don't get used to anything if you're not the boss.
Like getting paid.
Yeah, and being out there and living
Good
the
advice.
dream and all that shit. You learn a long time ago that it's not going to last forever. So, as long as it lasts, you have fun and do it and, make money, whatever. But then something else will come up. Luckily, like Last in Line is not just dependent on one person. We're kind of a band and we make decisions and stuff. So it's nice to be in your own band so you can have some security of, it's going to last another 4 or 5 years. So, but
How about
whatever.
you, Carm?
I'm still going.
Well, unlike Vinny, I've been the boss.
Ooh, is that a shot? I don't know if that's a shot
No,
or not.
I'm only kidding. I mean, well, for Vinny's case, Black Sabbath, Dio, Last Line, it's all the same kind of music, really. My case is a totally Vanilla Fudge the Cactus was like night and day, and then all that to Rod Stewart, night and day, and then back to Ozzy and Nugent. It's different kinds of stuff. I don't mind it. I like playing different kinds of
But when you
music,
say-
and different kind of.
I
When you
don't.
say-
I don't.
Vinny,
I
don't.
like to play that
Vinny used to
shit.
have on his website. What was it? What'd you have on your
I
website?
said, Vinny Apseed, the loudest drummer in rock. No love
Done.
songs, no ballad, no unplugged shit, no problem. And
And now I say no gigs. But
David, these guys keeping these brothers apart has been difficult every week. I literally gotta get in between them. Yeah, I literally-
where is he?
But Carm, actually, my question specifically now to you, you have different, obviously, you have different material, obviously. But does that affect your style? Is it? Do you have to
No.
change your style per?
No, that's the funny thing. I pretty much haven't changed my style to anything I went to. Even when I played with Rod Stewart, I played my style, but a little toned down. But I was still playing loud. I was still doing my kind of fills, you know. And I played with Ozzy, the same. Playing with Ted, the same. Blue Murder, the same. King Cobra, the same. Cactus, the same. And Vanilla Fudge.
You
was
can't
a little
change. You
different.
can't change, then you become a session guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we
point.
play the way we play all the time, and
Yeah.
we got it. You know, that's Carmine's sound. That's Vinny's sound.
Yeah.
You don't adjust to playing.
Yeah, and it's a
Something
feel.
like that.
It's a feel. Somebody was
Right.
talking about, you know, next week we're releasing a Vanilla Fudge did an album of Led Zeppelin in 1987, 2007, sorry. And it was never really released, so we're releasing it now. So we're just releasing next week the Immigrant Song. We did a video.
Wow.
And today I did a whole bunch of interviews about it. And the guys were asking me, they said, you know, when you listen to it, you know, because you're not John Bonham and Tim Bogart's not John Paul Jones, do you think it feels different because of the drums? I said, yes, definitely feels a little different. But I always had a similar feel to Bonzo because he listened to me and he listened to the same things I listened to, Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa and Bernard Purdy and R&B and Little Richard and all that same stuff I listened to. Like the only difference was he listened to me and Vanilla Fudge, which I didn't do that, obviously. But we had the same kind of feel, you know. Like Vinny listened to all that stuff and me, and so he's got the same kind of feel. More than anyone, we have the same kind of feel together, even though we play different. You know, Vinny plays with a lot more speed.
No.
And during
Is
the
it,
during
is
the
it
drum
true
work,
with everything going on, Carmine, that you had to change the name to the Immigration Song?
oh my God.
Immigration Song. That's a good idea.
There we go. Another parody I sense. I'm feeling a parody coming. So David,
That would be Rick. That would be Rick and Weird Al.
Weird Al.
The Immigration
Rick.
Song.
So, David, was there anything that, okay, so you started out doing some covers and doing some songs and doing some things, and then you joined Boston, and now you're doing your own thing and got your own band. Musically or stylistically, is there anything that you could think of that you're taking, that you're bringing with you from the Boston experience to what you're doing now, as opposed to before when you're in Boston?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being in the band, you sort of, obviously you just do a deep dive into the material. I remember one song I was learning or thought I was playing right, Feeling Satisfied. And we're doing the verse, and I'm just kind of on E, and he's like, no, it's ding, 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 and I was like, oh, yeah, I knew that. I just thought it'd be good if I did this. So you kind of get some ideas about just songwriting and guitar arrangement stuff, and definitely just some, like I actually just did put out a single last year, kind of the first new thing I've written in probably 2 or 3 years. And of course, it's on our album, only available at shows. But it's got a lot of Boston influence.
That needed a cymbal and a snare drum, but
Yeah. But it's got a lot of Boston influence. I mean, it's got that, like Party has a mellow guitar at the start. I'm like,
yeah, but one thing you probably learned from playing with Boston is being on a big stage and being a bigger presence than ever.
Well, that was fun. And you know what else is fun is in 2012, I'm brand new to that whole huge stage thing. And I watched videos of myself. I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. What am I doing there? Stop doing that. And then when I watched 2014, I'm like, that's better. I look a lot calmer.
You learn to work a stage with a big audience different than playing clubs and stuff.
Well, what is that difference?
You know?
What is that difference? Do you
Well,
actually, are you actually aware of
you can't,
what's in front of
yes.
you?
You can't,
Exaggerate.
yeah, visually, you can't play to just, when you're in a club, you're playing to the people in front of you. They're right there. When you're in a big arena, you got to make it bigger than life. You got to over exaggerate.
I had a fun, like, semi rock star moment in 2012. There was a part between these two songs where Tom wanted some kind of bridge, but he wasn't sure he had to move to keyboards from his guitar, so it'd take some time. So I was like, well, I could say something. And he's like, yeah, good. You say something, and then I'll do my thing. So I forget, third or fourth song or something. And people were charged up. Boston hadn't toured, I think, since 2008 at that point. And I get out there, I go, how's it going? And then they were like, ah! And I'm like, oh, right on. It didn't really matter that who's this guy saying, like he's been there before. So, and then after the show, it was like, you know what? I think I have a different idea for that section, so it's okay. You don't have to do that.
Now, when you guys
it was fun while it lasted,
When you guys go on stage, and this is actually a true testimonial to your, the guys behind the curtain, the heroes, the sound technicians. When you go, you do a show of 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 4,000 people. You do things a certain way. When you go, you guys hit the stage, and you've got 10, 20, 30, 40,000 plus people in front of you, do you find yourself like banging, trying to hit harder or louder, trying to pluck your guitar, louder, to try to sing louder? Does that psychologically happen? Or do you have to psychologically say, the sound guy will take care of it, let me just whisper in the mic like I normally do?
Actually, when you're at a club, people are right there. I tend to hit harder.
Really?
They're right there going, you went
You're
back.
feeding off of it. You're
Yeah,
feeding off.
it's getting old. But when you kill it, they're right there.
And also, if you're playing out in a like 40,000 people, usually it's outside, and it's a different thing. You don't hear any feedback from any echo or anything coming back at you.
Just goes away.
So it's a lot dead. So I find myself playing harder there,
Right,
to try and make the sound bigger around me, versus if you're playing even in an arena, you could hear it bouncing around.
I always play loud.
Vinny just plays loud all the time.
With dynamics and
Yes.
feel. That's the difference.
That's the problem with a lot of playing today and a lot of new bands is everything is one level. There's no dynamics to it at all. I mean, and my group, Vanilla Fudge, were the king of dynamics. We're up here and there, down, and you hear a pin drop. And there's the guys in Boston, the original guys, when I first met them, they would used to tell me, the keyboard, or B3 and everything was influenced a bit by Vanilla Fudge, and the vocals and everything. And, so that was us. I think dynamics was so important.
Yeah.
You hear energy and then down to a pin drop.
Think about a song like Foreplay. Foreplay is
Oh my God.
classical. And then that's you're right. That's what's missing. You look at a waveform now of a record. It's
It's like a death thing in a hospital.
yeah.
That's what Vinny's drum tracks look like. It's just
Oh
like
man,
this.
here we go.
They're off the charts. It's off the charts.
Yeah, actually, you can't even see it on the screen.
Hey David, I don't hope we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I saw you had your guitar next to you.
Huh?
Play some, David.
I must have put it down.
It's back by the speaker, David.
Hey,
The
All the way
speaker.
Let me
back.
go get it.
I'm looking for you
Oh, it's
to.
back there behind the speaker. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. No, I think I found it.
There it is. Can you? I can't.
If I was David, I would give it away now and just go.
I know. But
Freak
can you give
everybody-
us just
freak
a
everyone
little tour of Boston, just a little touch? We're all dying out here, the Boston fans.
Okay.
All right, okay.
You can only
Hey,
do
David Victor,
Wait.
everybody.
you can only do four bars, and
Play
then you can
it a
stop.
little bit, and Ron will guess the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you guess the song. Can't hear it. Oh, can you do it again? Sorry. Don't know.
How about the audience? Anybody out there know it?
Anybody
Peace of
out
mind.
there?
Peace
Oh,
of
yeah.
mind. Peace of mind, right?
There it is. Okay, yeah.
What is it?
Name that tune. Come on, name that
The
tune. Have
first
the
one
audience.
was Peace of Mind, obviously.
So what this
It's
proves?
been such a long time.
Yeah.
Well, that one too.
No, that wasn't what he played.
Betty Ann got it. Long time.
Betty and Trevano.
Sure, why not?
Do another one for Ron, David.
Ron, okay.
Oh, you're killing me here.
Okay, so what this means is Ron's got the shirt on. He
Right, but
don't
not a
know
fan.
shit about the song.
I know. Wait,
He
first
doesn't know the
album,
fucking
Ron,
song.
first album.
We got you, Ron.
I can't. Like I'm gonna have to pull the ear. I can't hear the music.
Oh,
I heard that.
Name that tune. Name that tune. Come on, audience.
Betty Ann says she can name it some song in 2 notes.
I can name that song in 2 notes.
Remember that show? Name that tune.
Maybe Ron doesn't know because it's not. I don't have the capo on. I bet that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron's got the shirt on, but
Hitch a ride.
It's your right. Hey, she was right. She was right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anita got it. Anita got it.
There you go, Anita. There you go.
Betty had it too. Okay. I liked it. Let's do some more.
Let's see.
I don't know. What is that?
I know the riff. I don't know the song.
We lost-
Down, right?
Oh, you
There's
didn't
a
hear it?
bam, bam, right?
You're kidding, right? You don't know who that is? Mob Rules. We lost your vocal.
What?
That didn't sound like that didn't sound like Mob Rules. I know why. It's acoustic.
Probably because I don't know how to play it, but I
It's
just.
an acoustic. I'm thinking Boston.
No.
That's why I was thinking Boston.
Play any song. Ron will guess it. He's a rock aficionado.
Aficionado. Good.
Let's see.
Ron, your vocals off.
Your vocal.
Vocals off.
It's off.
He's not hearing it. Can you hear it, Ron?
No.
Okay.
Yes. There's a little Kansas.
You will always remember. Carry on, it was a pleasure.
Man, you're hitting those notes.
How to
That's
hit those
amazing.
notes, man. That's fantastic.
It's fun. It's
You
just
must be young.
Those guys, we got a chance, when we were in Boston, we got a chance to play with a lot of these great, artists from yesteryear, right? And so Kansas, we did a bunch of shows with Kansas, and so it was great to be able to see them. We saw, here's one for you guys. You know that one, Ron?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't either.
No April Wine fans?
Oh,
April
no.
Wine. Oh my God. You do April Wine in part of your set?
We did.
Holy smokes.
They played. They were great. What a great band! And they just.
Oh, they play by us at least once, if not twice a year, over at the Arcada Theater.
Yeah.
April Wine.
You seen a world through your single life.
Life.
You're just as young and I can tell. What's that?
Sticks. Love it. So your band now what is some of your set list? Give us some of your set list.
Oh God, I can pull it up, but we do the classic essential Boston hits, everything from the first album. Don't Look Back from second album, obviously. Amanda from Third Stage. We might throw a few ringers in there, like Man I'll Never Be, or different Boston nuggets, and then the hits from Styx. I mean, just everything. Come Sail Away, and God, it's been I have a pandemic brain, so I'm blanking on all the Styx hits, but. Best of Times, all the stuff you play.
Lady, Grand Illusion?
Or we do an unplugged version of Lady, or unplugged version of
Babe?
Yes! Thank you.
I knew that one.
Yeah.
Vinny, I am not going to wear a shirt anymore. No more shirt. I'm literally going to take this off.
Oh my God.
No more shirt.
Oh,
Oh.
nesty.
No more shirts.
That's so nesty.
That is. David, are you? Do you
Is
have
that Ron Nasty, right?
Oh, here we go. When did this turn into this?
That's a
I'm
good
working
name.
hard over here.
Oh, man.
Ron O'Nasty is great.
Okay, great. You guys
That's
go
his
ahead.
stage name.
Okay. Go
And
ahead.
an hour from now, I'm doing one of these Zoom shows with Ted Nugent.
Ah,
It's a Ted Nugent campfire celebration.
Good. So make sure you announce when we've got Ted Nugent on the show.
What's that?
Make sure you announce when you're going to have Ted
Yeah,
Nugent.
I know. I'm waiting for the date. It's going to be hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have Ted on this show. And guess what? When we do, none of us are going to be able to talk.
I know. We've had that experience. I would tell Ted, he plays by us a couple times a year also. I said, Ted, please, politics, let's just give us the music. And he'll do that. He'll give us like 2.5 hours, amazing, 3 guys on stage, all these marshals, amazing music. And then he does the Buffalo song. And then bam, it's like, come on.
That Buffalo song was something whenever we played shows when I was with Ted. The Buffalo song was like 15 minutes long. It just kept going and going.
And he'll sneak his political stuff in there a little bit. I'm like, oh, come on.
Ted was on my girlfriend's radio show, the radio chick in New York. And when she had him on there, she was like a female Howard Stern. And they hired a flaming stripper to come on. She set her stomach on fire, and they barbecued some meat on there.
Oh my God!
That Ted ate. It was hilarious.
Nice.
I tell you what, he's. But I gotta say, he's always pretty much kept it to the music, and he loves talking about the music. And I did one thing with him, which was really incredible because he won't sign anything really, and I really want him to sign. We got this big clock in my dressing room. I wanted him to sign it, and I said, Ted, if I come up with a very specific number that will impress you, will you sign this? He goes, I don't know what you're talking about, but if it impresses me, I'll sign it. Okay. I put 6012 on this clock. He went, how the heck did you know that? I said, I did my homework. So he knows every show that was his 6,012th show by us, and he knows that. Anytime he knows what number show it is, he freaking signed it.
Good.
Wow. Really, really good. Who is one of the guys that, beside the Boston guys, David, who is somebody that helps you get in the frame of mind of being in this classic rock band? Who's one of your idols?
Give me a hard question. Eddie Van Halen, Michael Schenker, and Scott Gorham of Thin Lizzy.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy.
Thin Lizzy was one of the first bands I ever saw live. When I say one of the first, they were the third in a row of bands at a Day on the Green. And they destroyed everyone. Yep. Gary Moore had just rejoined the band. But that was when I went, oh, that's what a rock star is. I see now.
Yeah, Scott has put together another band, and his lead singer is unbelievable. And it looks like they're going to come out as Thin Lizzy, which is going to be freaking amazing. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Now, but I notice your vocals are obviously on the higher end. How about the whole Steve Perry's of the world?
Oh, yeah. Sure. I mean, when the lights go down in the city.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Because, it's San Francisco. I'm in the Bay Area, so.
Yeah, right.
Steve Perry was discovered through Tim Bogert.
Really?
Did you know that, Ron? Yep.
Oh, really?
Tim Bogert had a group called Tim Bogert Pieces. When I first came out to L.A., I went over to Tim's house. I knocked on Tim's door, and Steve Perry answered the door.
Wow.
I said, who are you? He said, my name's Steve Perry. I sing with Tim. I go, oh, where's Tim? He goes, he's sleeping. I'm thinking, what's this guy answering Tim's door for, So then Tim did a few showcases for labels. They didn't like the band, but CBS loved Steve Perry, and they were the label for Journey. So they wanted to put Journey together with Steve Perry. And when he joined Steve Perry, I remember Steve called me and he said, I'm going to need an accountant. Do you know any good accountants? And I recommended my accountant. He never went with them, but it was a funny story. So Tim Bogert really helped discover Steve Perry.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that funny, huh?
And was he part of the whole, actually getting him into Journey? Was it like a...
No, he didn't get him. the record company saw him with Tim's band at the showcase,
Yeah.
and they loved him as a singer. They didn't like the material. They didn't like the band. And they had already Journey before, Journey had done one album before Steve and Greg Raleigh.
Greg Raleigh, sure.
Yeah. So they put him with Journey, and they did that first album together, and whammo. Success.
Great album.
Do you think that you guys, I mean, you guys as Vanilla Fudge had so much influence on so many people. We talk about this every week. And Greg Raleigh be a good guy on the show as well. But do you think he got some of his B3 influence from you guys?
No, I think because he was around with Santana at the same time.
Yeah, Santana.
He was in Santana playing at the same time. I think he got his influence from the R&B and the soul thing, just like we did,
Yeah, I think he did
most of the bands from that era, from like 67, 68, we all listened to rock and roll. We all listened to like the Little Richards and Chuck Berry's and all that stuff. But we also listened to R&B, all the Midnight Hour, the Atlantic, Stax, Motown, all that. And that's what everybody listened to. And that's where we drew from to get the soul in our music,
Absolutely. I mean, you got... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The groove.
Yeah. They're coming out. There's a guy named I think his name is I forgot his first name, in Randolph. They're coming out with the Family Stone band again.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm excited about that.
Well, who's Randolph?
He was one of them. I'm trying to find it here. He's
one of the original Family Stone. No.
I don't think it's the original because you've got the Rose Stone. I don't think so.
No.
But they're coming out with the band.
Greg Arico had a Family Stone, and it was really good. And he had really great musicians. He was the only one.
That's what's starting to happen. I mean, I feel this, when I'm getting these bands, and some have just one original. I mean, look at Foreigner. I mean,
There's no originals.
I know.
Yeah, and now Quiet Riot has no originals.
And you know what? Foreigner is one of the greatest. I mean, they sound amazing, right? So if you're going to put a Foreigner in front of the audience and say, this is Foreigner, everybody in that audience is like, I just saw Foreigner and they kicked ass. I mean, they still sound great. You're like, well, yeah.
Well, they got Kelly, and Kelly's one of those guys just born to do this.
He's a great
Actually,
singer.
good story. So Ricky Phillips from Styx now and was in the Babies. He gave my audition tape and Kelly's audition tape to Foreigner to do that gig when they were another singer. And so I thought, well, this Kelly character, I don't know him, but anyway, they picked the right guy. That guy is
Kelly's awesome. I worked with him. I worked with him for a minute, but I knew him in LA. Kelly was part of the LA crowd.
Right. Yep.
And he's been kicking around for a long time.
Yep.
And he made it when he wasn't a kid with Foreigner.
Right.
And he was awesome. He could sing like Lou Gramm. He could sing like anybody.
All day long. He just
all day long,
all the time. It's insane.
Yeah.
Great singer.
Well, David, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. Everybody out there, like and share and let everybody know about Artists on Lockdown, Hangin' Bangin' each week with Carmine, Vinny, and myself. This week, Victor, David, so much appreciation. Love goes to you. Best of luck to you. We want to come see you in Indiana next Friday, is it?
Yes, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, next Friday night, Ron. And you already said during this broadcast you were free.
I'm coming. I am coming. Everybody on this, join me. Let's grab a bus or something. We'll grab an Italian beef sandwich. Go down to Indiana.
Hey, there you go.
David,
Bring the shirt, too.
Hey, I'm going to have to drive up from Florida.
Yes.
Let's do it. That's a party.
All the best
to all you guys, especially David. Good luck to you, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
How you doing, Paul?
Thanks, David. Thank you, man. Good singing, bro.
See you
Hey,
soon.
Paul, how you doing?
We'll see you guys next week.
Say bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Set me free, why don't you, babe? Get out my life, why don't you, babe?
Yeah.